To come to a celebration of native peoples, their cuisine, their heritage, their history, their spirituality. They are unquestionably the original earth to table, the original seasonal regional eating. It is a celebration that could only be Indian summer. All of the food offerings at Indian summer, my friends and guides have told me that the fire pit is the place for the savory wild rice cakes and the venison brat. And because, well, it's Wisconsin and we are Wisconsin Foodie, they're gonna let me in the kitchen. Dewan!
How you doing?
How you doing, man?
I'm good.
You're my venison brat and wild rice hookup, right?
Yes, I am. I
Cool.
got you. I'll take care of you.
I love it.
All right.
So you're riffing at the fire pit. Obviously, none of this is really traditional Native American cuisine. This is like great American festival food with Native American influence.
Yes, it is. A little bit of flavor for you.
So we've got venison, which is such a lean meat. You probably have to use some pork fat in there to make the sausage.
Yep.
Look at these grill marks, by the way.
Look at that.
Man.
Nice and beautiful.
And then a beef au jus and a little beer?
Yep. A little bit of beer.
Because this
is Wisconsin. Buddy.
This is Wisconsin. Man, that's really good. I mean, I love venison, but I wouldn't have thought that you could blend so beautifully that rich, you know.
That rich flavor and all those
quasi-gamey, right? Venison's got, this is fantastic, man. Now we move on to wild rice.
The wild rice cakes with the buffalo chili with cheese and onions.
Okay, let's do it, man.
Start off here with our wild rice cakes.
Oh.
It has shredded carrots, green onions, pancake batter, Parmesan cheese. Put it on a flat top, give it a nice little sear.
Yeah. Now this looks so good. I have to try this before you add the chili. You eat these every day, you have the strength of 10 men. I mean, that's great.
The only time you get them is during Indian summer, actually.
Really? You want to put chili on this?
Oh, yeah. Because our buffalo chili is award-winning buffalo chili.
All right, dude. I step away.
Buffalo bison chili. Nice big chunks of buffalo.
Wow.
So then we take it down here. Kobe Jack cheese and some diced onions on top.
I don't even know how to go with this. Like I need.
Just attack it.
This is a big bite here. This kind of gooey cheese with the crispiness of the wild rice. But then no, it's chili flavor. Dude, how did you come up with this?
Something we came up with years ago that we decided was like, well, what can we do that's going to make ourselves stand out from everybody else? And what do we can? This is what we came up with.
Thanks, man.
You're welcome. Anytime.
I appreciate how well you've ruined my appetite for all the other stands.
Well, that's good.
And booths that are here.
First start?
Yeah.
Nice place.
So why can't, not that I need to, but why can't someone take a beer past this point?
We have a split between the traditional and the non-traditional. A non-traditional, the modern stuff is all on this side. Alcohol is a non-traditional drink. So we don't allow it to go into the traditional areas. The traditional side, the powwow grounds have been blessed. There's elders and medicine men that have come in and said prayers on the grounds. So we prefer to have all the alcohol stay on the modern side.
That is really cool.
Well, today the Indian Summer is having their championship matches for their boxing tournament they had this weekend, and they had boxers from all over the Midwest, from Ohio all the way out to North Dakota, and male and female. There was a lot of young ones that were here to participate. And it's always good to see them and the smiles on their faces when they become champions, or just the fact that they had that opportunity to get in the ring.
So you've got a name, a full name, but you only want me to use one part of it. Explain that to me, my friend.
Well, native language isn't like English language, so my name is Nimanu Makwa, and that means man bear. So to my friends And I'll let you get in on that category. You can just call me Mukwa.
So bring me into the circle on traditional food, because you're exactly right. As the American diet, and I mean the colonial American diet, starts to realize that what comes from the earth and seasonal and regional, that's just old hand for native peoples.
Well, you know, it's really coming back in the classic circle experience, because, you know, the stuff gathered from the woods, like the leeks and the nuts and the berries, you know, that was what we did on Sunday afternoons. We would go out and plant blackberries as a family activity.
So fry bread is so ubiquitous at an Indian summer event like this, but it isn't a traditional dish.
Well, it's tradition now, because when there was nothing left and we were driven to existence on reservations, and the government would bring the stores, many times the agents were less than honest, and the pork was rancid. So the stuff that lasted was the flour, the lard, the sugar, and the salt.
So once you've got the fry bread and it's warm and it's right out of the oil, is there anything I should put on it? Is there any?
Well, most people it's cinnamon and sugar with butter or honey or something. Howdy.
What can I get for you today?
Fry bread.
Fry bread, how many fry breads would you like?
2, please.
2 fry breads?
Yes.
All right, 2 pieces of fry bread.
Right on.
Thank you.
Okay, buddy.
The best fry
Got
bread
it.
around.
Oh, it'll work. Come on, don't be greedy with it.
I want to see how you're going to eat the fry bread through the decoration.
Oh, dude. That is just
Not a problem, right?
an art form.
Okay.
Easily done. That's delicious. Thank you.
Well, this is good. Thanks for walking the grounds with me.
Oh, yeah. Hey,
Yeah,
thanks
give it-
for being so nice and having time for conversations.
Of course, of course. And it's fry bread. This is the stuff.
Oh, good. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah, right on, buddy.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Over my shoulder, the dancing will go on for hours. It's the culmination of the opening procession of the grand powwow that starts off Indian summer. Its vibrancy, its life, its heritage, it's a history that goes back further than anybody here, any of us can really imagine, but somehow we know. It's this kind of beauty at the end of the season.
Round of applause for our lovely ladies here.
Bujuga Kenan and then my Maganadug Bishkakune and Dijnakas Baju and Dode Maswagan and Ishkananing and Dunjaba. My name is, my English name is Greg Johnson, but my Ojibwe name is Biskakune. And that represents when you look at a fire, you see those little embers burning off it. I was given that name a while back. What we're going to be doing here in the next few days is we're going to go out and we're going to harvest a nice muskie from one of our local lakes here, and then we'll also harvest a little bit of manoman. We call that wild rice, and we're going to show the traditional cooking methods of how it's cooked under the ground and we're going to make it how our ancestors did long ago. We do it for health, for life, and for keeping the traditions alive. Okay, we're headed to a place called Milwaukee, which is actually the forest. We're going to be harvesting a little bit of wigwas, birch bark here. My daughter peeled her first birch tree right back here. And when you see a peeled tree like that, that's a sign of a thriving culture. And those trees, like I said, they represent a lot in our culture. Yeah, see, a lot of people are unaware of all these gifts that these woods give us, and it's such a treat. We look at these woods as like our pharmacy, it's our hardware store, and our food market. Okay, so right here we have a mukwak came in here, a bear. And then right up here we have Ojibwe, that squirrel. He came in here and he was climbing that tree. Maybe a few of them were fighting on this tree, and you can see a lot of their little scratch marks. You see that these little trees, they tell a story sometimes. We are going to use this to wrap that fish. And so this is what's going to keep the dirt out of it, since we're cooking it under the ground today. So this stuff is really special, this part. So what we have here is babuni wigwas. And this is what's going to be our, in essence, kind of like our Reynolds wrap today. Our next stop here is we're going to be heading back to our house. We're going to be taking care of this muskie that we harvested last night with a spear. We're going to fill it with all of our best stuff. We have wild rice, we have maple syrup, and we have wild onions. Jagagawinj, Manoman, Minowa, Anishinaabe, Zinzibakwa. Those three things, those are gifts too. And around here we try to do our best to live seasonal. A lot of our young men on our reservation, they're doing this as well. So it's always a real pleasure to be a part of, to get immersed in our four seasons and our culture that way. So today our goal is to cook a muskie like our ancestors did long ago. What they would do is they would actually get that muskie, they would flip it over, they would take all the insides out, all the intestines and everything, clean it out really nice with a knife, and then they would stuff it full of all these old foods. We would have wild rice, manoman, we'd have jagagawinj, we would have wild onions, we would have Anishinaabe Zinzibakwa, the maple syrup, or Anishinaabe Zinzibakwa, the sugar, and then the mashganoji, the muskie itself. And we would wrap that in birch bark, stick it under the ground, cover it up, and then we'd build a fire over that. And that was the old-time stove. And so that's what we're going to be doing here today. So later on, after we get off that rice bed, we'll have something here to eat, and it'll be a real special treat, because I know that hasn't been done in a while here, and we can provide that for our little family here. So. The Ojibwes were a hunter-gatherer society. There was always a ceremony done before we went out. A small ceremony. It was a talk, a little gift of tobacco. And we'd go out and we'd harvest our ducks, we'd harvest our fish, we'd harvest our wild rice, we'd harvest our maple sugar. And we'd ask that permission first. Preparing food is not only to sustain us physically and give us health, but it's also a spiritual connection to the world. What greater honor to honor that animal or that plant than to be part of it with you. It becomes a part of you. And we're surrounded by so much wild food and wild game up where we live that became an important staple in our diet. Those wild geese and the ducks and the wild rice, it's all very important. It's also a spiritual part of who we really are. So now my brother here, he's gonna make this fire really hot. A good bed of coals. He's gonna transfer all that fire over here, and all those coals will cover this area, plus the wood. He's gonna have a nice hot fire going a majority of the day. And by the time we get back here, maybe when the sun's setting, we can take that fish out and we can enjoy it. So that's how it was done long ago. That's how we do it today. Well, we're gonna go pick up one of my teachers. His name is Ozawagush, which means in our language yellow fox, or his English name is Leon VALLIERE, one of our cultural leaders and a very well-known cultural speaker and teacher here. He's got these tarps out and he's drying the rice that we had previously knocked, and so we'll see a little bit of that today, how that's done. This guy's been in the rice bed his whole life, so we have a lot to learn from this guy here.
Anishinaabe Manoomin, as I understand it, a very spiritual food, and we believe that this is what allows our bodies to be healthy.
We're headed to a place called Island Lake, and it's one of our higher producing, higher yield rice beds in our territory here. And we're going to go check it out and see if there's any rice, residual rice left over there. And we're going to knock a little bit of that rice today here.
We're going to fill up our canoe. That's our objective. And so there's only one way for us to fill that canoe is my partner here, we say, Boa Ige, that's what he's doing, Boa Ige. He's moving those sticks to knock rice in the boat. And so if he needs to take a break, then the boat stops and then we take a break. But other than that, as in any task you're trying to accomplish, you stick with it, know your objective, and work toward achieving that objective. There's been a lot of rice seed that's already fallen in the lake here. Rice pickers pick a very small percentage of the rice that actually grows in this rice bed. The Siganok, the red-winged blackbirds, they've had their share. The Manumnikeshiug, the Virginia rails, the rice birds, they've had their fill. She bug, there's ducks that are diving under the water right now, and they're having their rice. All of nature, it's a very complex cycle. Everything from insects to birds and people, we're all a part of this mystic food cycle, food chain that we're in here, this environment. We have always been a hunting and gathering society, the people of Waskaganish, and with the Treaty of 1854 that put us on the Ishkunigan, known as the reservation, we were now put within a 12 square mile box. We're not here to over-harvest anything. We've always been the greatest of environmentalists, and food is our medicine. And we're attempting to encourage as many people to go back to the natural way of eating and also the natural way of cooking. And so you can have the most traditional type foods, but if those foods are being prepared in a bad way, you're really not receiving the type of benefit. But unfortunately, the way of the world we're in today, it's a very profit-driven world we're in today. It's difficult to be that way. Not enough education going on in our schools today. You know, we've seen the rise of fast food restaurants in the last 2 decades. And so all of these things have led America to be the most obese country in the world.
It's been in there almost 6 hours now. Well, there's a number of goals that I have as an educator. One of them is how we view the world. We're taught to look at this world as one big product, a natural resource that we can take whenever we want. What we try to teach people is that tree grows from the ground and it grows up and it has a life. In our language, we talk about that tree having a spirit. And a lot of things have a spirit, but it also grows this way under the ground too. So there's a whole lot of stuff under the ground that we respect, just like we respect up here. You know, I basically tell people that what we can reach above us and below us, that's our world. That's the one that we can take from. Anything above there or below it doesn't concern us. And if we start messing with those things above us or below us, then we change our world. When we alter our world, then everything around us changes. And our kids at school are getting those lessons. They're getting language lessons. They're getting their traditional language lessons. We're also offering our own history that's not written in the books. You know, our Waswaganing history. So it's not just a pan-Indian, a general Indian idea. It's specific to our existence. So every tribe has a story, and they're very interesting stories. So I challenge the people of Wisconsin and the Midwest to learn the land you're standing on, because this is a very, very beautiful place, and some of us, we still want it that way. Our diet contains our health, and our diet contains our spiritual identity as well.
Wisconsin Foodie would like to thank the following underwriters for their support: Wisconsin Milk Marketing Board and the Dairy Farm Families of Wisconsin, Illing Company, Outpost Natural Foods Co-op, Potawatomi Hotel and Casino, Society Insurance, the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources, WMSE 91.7 FM,
Wisconsin Milk Marketing Board, representing the dairy farm families of Wisconsin, who fostered a proud history with generations of family-owned dairy farms, working to sustain the state's economy through job growth and providing acclaimed cheeses and other dairy products.
Every product tells a story, and every story starts with a seed. Your story, your product, your company all started with an idea. Illing Company ensures you have the right packaging to help you proudly take your harvest to market. Illing Company is dedicated to packaging your vision.